Okay, Prop Nation, Sully and your boy John Lloyd Roberts. What's up, man?
We're recording while Seahawks Cowboys is on. What is DK Metcalf doing to me? 2 catches, 107
yards, brother. 107
Get out of
yards.
here.
70 something on the one completion. So to all of
Get
you out there
outta here.
who had him on the longest completion, man, he just scorched that.
Bloody hell. Cowboys, come on.
Yeah. Hey, you had the Geno
CD's
Smith
just
under.
scored a second touch. Oh, nearly.
Oh, you got it going on right there in the background.
Nah, I'm good. Let's do the show.
Okay.
Let's roll.
Let's roll. Let's just make this snappy. I got a game of puck to play. I got a twig. I got to tape up right after we're done this. Thought about taping it on air, but we're moving. Let's do this. Okay, buddy. So last week,
Let's talk about it.
Yeah. I mean, not on the show, but when Chris Olave went down, my dynasty fantasy team, the Shares and A.T. Perry, they just started twinkling. I really actually thought that A.T. Perry was going to have a game. I really thought he was going to have a game with Michael Thomas out and then Chris Olave. I just got to say, spoiler alert, it's this week.
This is it. Never wrong, just early.
Yep, never wrong, just early. That's it.
Hey, man, I want to talk about my ticket last week for Thanksgiving.
Yeah, that was a
6
banger.
legs. All 6, baby. Thank you. Packers at Lions. We had, I think it was like Jordan Love over. It was David Montgomery over. Jimmy Gibbs over. Amon-Ra over. And actually, it only hit because of that last minute Amon-Ra bomb, 20 yards.
Yeah, you needed that.
Won me a lot of money.
It happened.
And then we backed it up again. Cowboys, Washington was not great, but then Dolphins at Jets was also another very good night. So, yeah, looked back on Thanksgiving fondly.
Yeah, your single's on fire right now, John.
Oh, yeah.
On fire. But let's get into them. Let's let the listeners hear what we're thinking for this week. Anyway, like and subscribe. Well, you know what? Sponsorship is nigh. We need it. It's coming. Well, let's just go on. Let's get it sorted.
We should actually mention that more on the show. We should say, hey, we're making some great content here. We've got a great audience. We've got a great channel that we're creating. If you want to be a part of it, please
and thank you. If you're a company that wants to promote products that help you trim your pubic hairs, if you if you sell alcohol, if you sell erectile difficulty pills, if you are also a sports betting channel that you want exposure, I mean, we'll accept it all. If you're a vacuum company, let's go.
Yeah, we're not going anywhere.
Clean their houses, let's go. Anyway, so let's get into this. You know what? I already spoiled the first pick. I'm just going right away. Here we go.
Yeah, do it, man.
The line's not up right now because there's so much uncertainty going on with the receiving core with New Orleans.
Yeah.
But here we go. I'm going to take A.T. Perry. I'm gonna triple down on A.T. Perry. Longest completion, which is going to be somewhere around 19. I'm going to say A.T. Perry over his receiving yards, which are probably going to sit somewhere in between 30 and 35, my guess, if there's the injury that comes in. And I'm going to take over on his receptions, which are probably going to be at 3. Like a flat 3, and I will take the over on all of those.
Right on.
An A.T. Perry. It is literally an A.T. Perry parlay. Let's go.
So here's what I really, really love about this pick. I was listening to some pods. I'm sorry, I can't remember which one it was, but they were talking about defensive success rate, and the Detroit Lions, who the Saints face this Sunday, they have become 32nd in success rate over the last 4 or 5 weeks. They're actually one of the easiest teams to pass on at the moment. We've seen that with the matchup last week with Green Bay. We see it with Chicago. We know that Fields and DJ Moore is a great stack to have if you're a part of it. Justin Herbert lit them on fire as well, as did Zay Flowers and Baltimore. The only ones who didn't was that first Aiden O'Connell, or it might have actually been the last Jimmy G game that we saw with Devontae Adams. And we know what the problems are there in Raiders Town. So I think that this is prime. Like, as it stands right now, Chris Olave is out with concussion, I believe is the way. And we've only seen one player come back the same week they got a concussion. That was Brock Purdy, I think in week 4 or 5. So Michael Thomas is out, and there's someone else who's out. I think it might be one of the tight ends as well. So
yeah,
I think that this is a really, really Johnson. Good spot. Yeah. So, I mean, the ball's got to go somewhere. It's either A.T. Perry. You know, the other prop that I really like from this game is Rashid? I think Alvin Kamara is going to have a line of like 7.5 catches. And man, even if it's 8 catches for Alvin Kamara, I don't mind it.
Don't even go there, John.
I don't mind it.
8 catches. Come on, man. You're a glutton for punishment, I'm telling you.
We'll see.
You know what? It's actually
that's a great pick.
That's not the craziest. But yeah, man.
Dude, you've seen him. He's been getting like 14, 15 targets a game. Some games he's had like 11, 12 catches.
Out of control. I just think they're going to push the ball down the field a little bit more this game. I think Derek Carr opens it up a little bit. I got a good feeling. Both the receiver 1 and 2, which I think A.T. Perry is automatically going to slide into number 1 if Olave's injured. I don't know. Right. Has there been any conversation about Chris Olave this week or no? Do you know?
Well, he's got a concussion. And so, like I was saying, like there's just no world in which I think he plays. The only one is if he plays for the 49ers and his name's Brock Purdy, apparently. Other than that, no. We haven't seen any player come back from concussion.
It's true. Yeah, there hasn't really been.
That next week.
Yeah. Well, anyway, so they're that's it. So I love it. I love it. I also like Shaheed, but I think we're just going to roll the A.T. Perry train.
No, I think that's the way to go, and he has been starting to get the ball a bit more as well. I'm gonna start with the Miami Dolphins, and I'm very much enjoying targeting the Washington Commanders pass game at the moment, where they're not really having too much success in any capacity and run since they let their defenders go. Who was it? Chase Young, and was it Montez Sweat they let go to the Bears?
I think Sweat's out of there. Yeah.
I'm trying to think off the top of my head. Yeah, they've just kind of gone downhill more and more. I realized that St. Jude's did actually play a good game last week against CeeDee Lamb. But I think that you can slice this any way you want it. If you want to take Tua, if you want to take Mostert, or if you want to take Tyreek Hill. I like all of those picks. But this first one, I'm talking about Tua here. Right now, he opened at 276 passing yards, which I would happily bet the over. I know it sounds like a lot.
That is a lot.
It's now going up to 280. Well, the other one that you could also look at is Raheem Mostert. I think he's getting about 60 or 70 rushing yards.
He's going to break a big one in that game. He's going to break a big one. Because I'd be more inclined to take him on the longest rush because he's going to bust it. He's going to bust a 20.
Even if Achane is playing, which I believe he might be, even if Jeff Wilson is playing, I still like Mostert. I did try to bet him under last week, and that failed on that last rush with 2 minutes to go. I couldn't believe it. But
if Achane's playing, I like his longest rush as well. Both of the running backs for the longest rush in this game, I think they're just going to run the crap out of them. That's why I feel like the Tua pick is a little scary, just because I think if they get ahead at all, they're going to lean on that run game, and it's going to be a 1-2 punch, maybe even a third back in there, where they're just rotating and just driving the clock a crazy amount. Yeah.
I mean, look, that's fair. I will say every single quarterback has gone over their rushing prop line since week 3. The only one who didn't really was Mac Jones, but we know what Mac Jones is now, and that was in week 11. But it's a sort of a similar situation with the running backs as well. Receiver 1, I think Tyreek Hill's going to smash it. So maybe let's order it this way. Let's go. I'd actually rather go Tyreek Hill 1. That's the over his receiving yards, which will be about 95.
Yeah, it's 95.
And I'm still okay with that.
So you think he's going to eclipse 100? No problem.
Yeah, so I'll give you the lines over the last 5 weeks. 85, 90, 90, 93, 93, and now it's at 95. And he went over all of them. So
yeah, he's been,
except for one.
Yeah,
except for week 9. But having said that, I think that the same with the Commanders defense. They can be passed on. And 2, let's go Raheem Mostert for rushing prop over, I think I've got 56.5. Is that right?
Sounds about right. Let me see.
Yeah, from what we've seen. Tua is a bit more sort of 50-50 in his props, but again, teams have been passing on the Commanders. So I'm just looking all Dolphins this way. I'm probably not even, actually what is interesting as well is we know Sam Howell's passing more than anyone else in the league at the moment. And they're going to be playing from behind. So if you like a little cheeky, teams have really struggled against the Dolphins because their defense has got a lot better, but they did lose Jalen Phillips last week to an Achilles injury, and he's been one of the biggest factors for them in defense as far as pressure and pass rush go.
Brian Robinson is at 12.5 on his receiving yards, and I really like that.
Yeah. There's so many angles to attack in this game. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Like whether you want to go Commanders or you want to go Dolphins, there's so much goodness in it.
I would only feel confident taking the Dolphins side if I was riding the running backs.
Okay. I'm all about the pass here.
That's fine. I think that game's going to be over in the third quarter.
Yeah.
So it scares me.
No, well, yeah, but Commanders won't stop passing just because of that. Even in neutral game script, they still pass more than any other team.
Yeah, I know. And Sam Howell will put up fucking 280. But yeah, no. Brian Robinson at 12.5. Really like it.
Yeah.
You know what? Add it to the card. I'm taking it.
Yep.
Taking Brian Robinson over 12.5 receiving yards.
So that's your next pick. All right.
Yeah. Cool. It's easy. But I'll move into another game. So where am I going? So what's going on with Jonathan Taylor right now? This is just a hypothetical question here. What's going on with JT?
Yeah, so he's at the hospital at the moment, booked in for surgery to get his thumb repaired. He should be back in about 3 weeks.
Okay, so Zach Moss.
Yeah, so he's having thumb surgery. Yeah.
So this divisional game, I really, 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 really like the receiving total for the running back. And I didn't know if it was going to be Jonathan Taylor because I didn't know that he was going in for surgery. But if it's Zach Moss, I'm going to go take a look at Zach Moss right now, and we're going to see.
Have a look at him. I will say the Titans' run defense has not been too bad. They've been a bit beatable. They've been beatable the last couple of games, but I know what you're talking about.
17.
You're talking about the pass catching option, which usually relies on the linebackers. Those linebackers in Tennessee have been very good against tight end. I'd be interested, and they've also been okay against pass catching running backs. So yeah,
what's the average yardage? Yeah. Do you have it there?
Look, some lines have been like last week. Chuba only needed to get 12.5, and he got it. Rashad White as well, who we know has been smashing it in the pass catching game. So he got the better of them. Travis Etienne as well. He's been playing down, so he didn't get his. His was a high line. Others like Najee, 20, 25.
Yep.
So these players have not been getting it. So yeah.
So 20, 25. Zach Moss at 17.5 feels a little bit like a steal for me.
Yeah, really? Okay.
I don't know what his longest reception is, but if
he's playing well.
If it's 10.5, that seems. I was going to say if it's at 9, I would probably say 9. But they're integrating him in the passing game, and they're flips, and they're small. He's given like a little bit. It's kind of like it's not a full screen, but they're catching Zach Moss in full motion, which is great because once that first contact hits, like he's breaking that first point of contact often. Like watching him play, it's been a good season for him. I really like this spot. I like it. 17.5. I'm going to take the over Zach Moss 17.5.
Yeah, and look, just to speak to what you were saying. So Zach Moss, we saw mostly from week 2 onwards, and he was playing lights out. He was beating all his rushing props, his receiving props. He did a really, really good job of as well. And then as soon as Jonathan Taylor came back, his production completely slipped away.
That's where I think.
Having said that, though, now it's coming back. Yeah,
that's what I mean. I think that's where you're getting your value, and that's kind of what that's what I was getting at. Is like I didn't know what was going on with Jonathan Taylor, so I thought, okay, if he's not going in for thumb surgery, I would stay away from both of these probably. I would maybe look at the rushing total, but because he's out, that's like a solidified for me. Like Zach Moss will get probably 3 catches. And the way that he's trucking through that first point of contact, I can't see him not getting on one of those, getting around like 9-10 yards, and then the same thing, the next one, and then the next one. I would not be surprised if he finished off at like 27, 28 yards. Would not be surprised.
It's a good call that you make. I'm glad you talked about the receptions, because to get 3, he's only done that twice this season. One was in week 2, which no one would have bet, and then the other was week 6, and then every other week he's either had 2 or less, so hasn't been utilized. What I will say, though, actually, now that we talk about it, that's jogged my memory, because this was all Anthony Richardson, and now it's Gardner Minshew, so I wonder if that will play a factor as well. That's a really good point.
Yeah. I mean, I feel good about it. I feel pretty good about it. All right, what's up? What do you think?
All right, man. So my next one, look, I know I keep mentioning these names, but once we start to find trends and things that we like, it's hard not to. I'm tossing up. Do you want to talk about Ramondre Stevenson or Bijan Robinson?
Go Ram.
I think Bijan. Bijan is kind of the way. Bijan's the way I want to go, just because New England is such a dumpster fire. But I will say, if you're looking at this game,
he's going to get a shot, isn't he? Bailey Zappi here?
Yeah. Yep. It's Bailey Zappi time now. Ramondre Stevenson
how could
in the receptions has been all right.
Yeah. How could you not look at the catches for Stevenson in this situation? Is it 3 or 4?
He's at 3.5, so he'll need 4 to bet the over.
I still feel
but
good
he's been getting
that.
it.
Yeah, and Bailey check down monster, man. But it's a good thing. It's definitely a good thing.
Yeah. So they're playing the Chargers as well. Chargers defense absolutely sucks at the moment.
Hunter Henry revenge game there. Those are the 2 picks that I like there. I like Hunter Henry for 3 catches in that, or potentially, if I don't know what his yardage total is, but it's probably somewhere in between 22 and 25. I really like that. I also really like the Ramondre Stevenson catches. Yeah.
All right. Stevenson, we'll talk about him then, because here he is. So this is Los Angeles Chargers defense. Look at these running backs they face, man. Every single running back that they face has gone over their receptions total prop line, whether it's 3.5 or whoever. Tony Pollard, doesn't matter. Isaiah Pacheco, doesn't matter. They've all done it. So now it's Ramondre's turn. Last week, he had something like 7 or 8 catches, I think it was. He was heavily used in check down. I think they looked to him a lot. Even Zeke has been getting a lot of catches as well. That's how desperate they are to get these guys on the field. I'll just quickly move to Ramondre as well, who, like, he's been playing definitely much better over the back half of the season here. Started really, really shaky, but he has got it together, particularly in the pass game. Look, he's only missed his scrimmage yards 1 time since week 6. So they are heavily using him. They're using Zeke a lot in the run game as well. You can get sort of 25, 30 yards there with Zeke if you like, if you want to bet something a little bit lighter on. But Zeke's
receiving is at 9.
Yep, I got 7.5 in one book.
Oh, geez, that's freaking wild, man.
Yeah, so
that is wild.
It's going to be an interesting game, man. I know that the Patriots want to lose, but don't want to lose, if that makes sense. And the Chargers need to win. That's it. That's all it comes down to. Yeah, so both teams will need their best players out there.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure.
How do you feel about that Hunter Henry pick? Like, how do you feel?
What have you got?
I'm sitting right there. I haven't taken anything. I just want to kind of bounce that off you. The 2.5, it's a little steep. Like, I feel very confident with him at two receptions.
Yep. So he missed last week's game. He didn't play. And then the week before was a bye week. And then before that, he was sort of getting 3-4 receptions for a couple of weeks there. There was a patch where he was just not being utilized at all. But this is the basket case that is New England at the moment.
But this is also a little bit of an unfamiliar territory here, because you have a different quarterback coming in. So all those numbers, it's like, it doesn't really matter. You know, it doesn't really matter.
But don't you think like, so it's Bill O'Brien we're talking about here. It's not Mac Jones or Bailey Zappi. The common denominator is like, they'll run whatever Bill wants them to run.
Yes, of course they will. But what I'm saying is, when you have a different style of quarterback, like Mac Jones notoriously will force a throw.
Right.
Notoriously. He'll force something into a window that he is not capable of throwing. And
Zappi's capable of that a couple of times a game as well.
He is. But Bailey Zappi consistently looks off of his principal target when it's not lining up right, and he looks to his check down. He is
Yep.
he is a check down guy, and there's nothing wrong with that. That's how you stay in the league. Alex Smith,
Yep.
if you know that you're not going to be a superstar, which I don't think.
Yeah.
I think we all know that Bailey Zappi's probably not going to be a superstar. But does he have the
It was
ability?
that one game. That one game.
Does he have the ability to manage the offense, right? And when you look at the Patriots system, that's all you need. You need a guy that's going to be able to deliver the ball into the right place and make smart decisions. And if you're coming in off the bench and you want to keep your job and you don't want them to flip-flop between Mac Jones and Bailey Zappi, and if you're Bailey Zappi going into that game, what do you think you're going to do? Like, you're not. Are you going to try and stretch the field with players who are not like what Mac Jones was doing? Are you going to just throw the same shit at the wall and hope it sticks? No, absolutely not. The play calling is going to be a little bit more conservative because they're going to want to set Bailey Zappi up for success. So you're going to want to get completions early and often. I wouldn't be surprised in the first 2 quarters to watch 14, 15 completions come through with Bailey Zappi in the first 2 quarters. So his over on completions feels good. And then I like the over on the completions on both the tight end and the running back because that's going to be the second look. The second look right away is going to be the underneath. And so the first one's not going to be there because you look at the talent level. Demario Douglas likely isn't playing.
Is he not? Really? That's huge.
Well, yeah, so he was injured. So I got a notification earlier that
I didn't know that.
I'm going to double check here, but I don't want to be
I'll check the injury report just because he's been getting like most of the ball. Devontae Parker did have a spike game last week, but I think it was nothing more than a spike game. So I think it could just funnel through Ramondre and Hunter Henry at this point.
Okay, so this is nuts. So this is what we're looking at for the Patriots side. Wide receiver Matthew Slater, questionable. Wide receiver Demario Douglas.
Slater's their center, isn't he?
No, he was their kick returner. Demario Douglas, wide receiver, questionable with a concussion. Keyshawn Boutte, questionable with a shoulder.
Concussion. Wow.
Kendrick Bourne, IR.
Yeah, he's on IR. Yeah.
So you're short.
Holy crap. So he has a concussion. So he's definitely not going to play then.
He's not going to play. So
wow.
What do you think they're going to do? And they're going to protect Bailey. It's going to be 12 personnel, 2 tight ends on the field at all time.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the first check down is going to be Hunter Henry or it's going to be the running back. So I feel super confident about those. When you look at the stat line at the end of the game, you're going to have Bailey Zappi with 22 completions. You're going to have the top of the number. It's going to be Ramondre Stevenson, 5 or 6 completions, Hunter Henry, 4 or 5 completions, and then it will be probably Mike Gesicki with 3, and then underneath that would be 2 to Devontae Parker, and Devontae Parker.
I think Devontae Parker will be involved.
He'll have a good game. He'll catch a couple, but they're not going to be targeting him often. Like it's not going to be a consistently targeting downfield. They're going to wait and they're going to try and get a lot of quick completions and then use the play action to try 1 or 2 down the field to Devontae. He'll probably catch one, but. I feel really good about the amount of completions that are going to happen.
I love this conversation, man. I can't remember the last time I felt like I actually talked you into a pick.
Yeah.
I think you're really into this one.
I like it. I like all 3 in that game, though. I like the overall Bailey Zappi's completions. I like Ramondre Stevenson over on his receptions, and I like Hunter Henry's receptions.
That's it.
I don't even know if I had to pick one out of that. I'm probably gonna go.
I'm taking Ramondre.
Yeah, whatever the line's better. I think Ramondre was plus money for 4.
Right.
So that feels pretty good.
Right.
But then Hunter Henry's only at 3. Hunter Henry, 3 receptions. That's what I would take.
So wait, is he at 2.5 or 3.5?
2.5.
2.5. Okay. Yeah. That is fine. I'm comfortable with that.
Yeah.
And just a little sneaky one as well. Keenan Allen. I don't know what his line is. I assume it's probably around 75 or 85.
They're charging.
He looks like he might
out of the Patriots.
He looks like he might be primed to have a very big game. If we're doing 100 yards or 80 yards, maybe we were doing our 8 for 80 again. He's
questionable with his quadriceps.
Oh, he'll play. He's always questionable, man. He's always questionable
with his quadriceps. Okay, so you're good. You like Ramondre in that one?
Boom.
Okay,
lock it in.
I like Hunter Henry in that one. Cha-ching. That's what that is. Cha-ching.
Nice.
Hunter Henry,
Cha-ching.
3 receptions, over 2.5 receptions. If you want to get cheeky, Bailey Zappi with his over on his completions too. I feel pretty good about that.
Yeah.
I don't even know what the number is, but I really want to see actually passing. Let me see here. Bailey Zappi.
A lot of like we were just talking about with Commanders and Dolphins. There's a lot of ways to attack this game. I really enjoy this.
There's a lot of good games on this slate. Like I'm gonna probably probably have like 3 or 4 build outs and then the singles.
Yep.
That pretty much concludes everything that I really liked in the slate. I've
got one more.
Else. Yeah.
I've got 2 more actually. Sorry.
Sure.
Real quick. Look, either way, Cooper Kupp under. I think he's probably only getting like 50 or 60 yards at the moment, but the Rams have not been playing too well at the moment. And a lot of the ball has not been going to Cooper Kupp. And I did also read, apparently in the injury report, he is dealing with, I think he's still dealing with that hamstring injury that he's been dealing with for a while.
He doesn't look like himself on the field. Watching him,
he doesn't.
I took the over on him last week, and it was a mistake. But watching him play, he was non-existent on the field. Couldn't get separation.
And now they play the Browns, and we know that like the Browns defense, they started at a historic pace. They did trail off, but they are still really, really good team. So Cooper Kupp, whatever his number is, sort of like around 50.
He's 57.5. He's 57.
Oh, yeah, I'll take the under on that. But the main one that I actually really want to talk about, and this one I think is more of a lock, not just Tyreek Hill, who I was talking about before, but for the San Francisco 49ers against the Philly Eagles. I'm talking about Brandon Aiyuk. I think Brandon Aiyuk is going to have such an enormous game.
Dude, this is a very good spot.
This game's in San Francisco, right?
I think so, yeah. This is a really, really, really good spot for Brandon Aiyuk. And I think because of the last couple games, his line's down. Yep. What's he at? 60?
He'll be about 60, because he has been like inconsistent.
It feels like...
And the only reason he had a good game last week when they played the Seahawks...
59 and a half.
I was about to say the Sea Eagles. 59 and a half, yeah.
The shit.
He had one huge 30-yard touchdown catch, and outside of that, he was not used at all. But this will be a great bounce back for them. The Eagles are really struggling to shut down these number one receivers. I'm just trying to see if they've actually done it one time. They did do it last week. Okay, against Stephon Diggs. They had a good game. I'll just bring this up really quick so you can have a look.
Yep.
But this is what we're looking at here. Receiver one options, they've all had success. It was a tough matchup last week. And Mike Evans and Chris Godwin sort of struggled but this is back in week 3. So with where Brandon Aiyuk is at and how much success, like this is the 49ers really want to win this game. Eagles could be due a loss because they have actually been sort of outperforming their lines at the moment. If you see, like they've been winning a lot of games, but they're sort of like this year's version of the Minnesota Vikings last year, where they were just got really, really lucky with the ball going their way towards the end of games. But I think now that they're up against the 49ers, I think it's going to be a different story. And would not be surprised at all. Okay, it is in Philadelphia, though. I will say there's a 30% chance of rain as well. And it's a late window game. So it's going to be in Philly and it's going to be at 4:00. So, but still, regardless, I think that this is a good spot for Brandon Aiyuk.
Cool.
So Cooper Kupp under, Brandon Aiyuk over. How do you feel about those ones?
Yeah, I'm all right about it. Cooper Kupp scares the shit out of me because it's Cooper Kupp.
Yes, exactly.
At any given point, when you think you're down and out about Cooper Kupp manages to, like a zombie coming from the ground.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, yeah, remember? Mr. Triple Crown. And, John, you're all about taking these, like, really, like, intense, sweaty bets. And I just couldn't. I couldn't ride that one with you.
Most people go for a run.
Yeah,
most people hit the sauna, hit the spa. Not
you
me.
Bet Cooper Kupp unders. Yeah, you bet Cooper Kupp unders. That's so funny. Okay. Well, hey, let's do a little recap. You know what? If I have to remove something, I'm going to remove Zach Moss, but I still like it. So here's what I have. I have a pick 2 out of 3 is what I would do out of the A.T. Perry between the longest reception, his over yardage, and his receptions. None of those lines are out right now, but here's my guess. Right. The longest completion is going to be 19. The yardage will be somewhere around 30 to 35, and his actual completions, his receptions will be somewhere around 3 to potentially 4, and I like all of them, but I would probably take 2 of them and roll with 2 of them. I've got Zach Moss over 17.5 receiving yards. Oh man, I really like that Brandon Aiyuk pick that you had there. I like
you like
Brian,
all my picks.
I do. Yeah,
like.
they're really good, except for
which I'm happy about. Yeah.
12.5. I like the over 12.5 for Brian Robinson's receiving. And when it comes down to the Patriots, I'm probably just going to take Hunter Henry over the 2.5, but I also really like Bailey Zappies over his pass completions, and you could play that all the way up to like 22. I think there's going to be 14 in the first half, and then they're going to be playing from behind, and it's going to just be throw, and then with that being said, Ramondre Stevenson at the 4. His receptions I really like. So that's what I have for the card. I'll build some tickets in and around there, take them all on the singles. You'll be laughing at the end of the week if you take them all on the singles. For the parlays, at your own discretion, but fire away.
Yeah, and I'm going to give you one more at the end of this, which is another huge sweat, but I think it's there. It's a decent one. But so my picks this week will be insert Miami Dolphin over here. It could be so for me, I like Tyreek Hill number 1, 95 yards over. I'm okay with
Gangster.
that. Mostert number 2, I think we got him at 56 from memory over rushing yards, and Tua 280 over passing. So use your best judgment there on which ones you'd like to see there.
Go, hey, take Ramondre or take Mostert. That's the out of all those, John. Mostert feels the safest to me.
I actually am concerned about Jeff Wilson and Devon Achane though.
Jeff Wilson, of all fucking people, John, you're concerned about Jeff Wilson.
Yeah, my boy Jeff. Mike McDaniel said in a interview this week with the journalists, he said that Jeff Wilson embodies the soul of this franchise more than any other player on the team. So,
yeah, I
actually believe that.
Is that just giving him a kudos for him fetching water for the boys on the bench, or what?
Yeah. No, I believe it. I believe it, man.
Yeah, you're such a true.
Okay.
Go on.
Ramondre Stevenson, 3.5 catches. We're going there. Actually, I think it's actually 4.5, isn't it?
Was it 4? No, it can't be 4.5.
It might be because it has been, but I still like it. I don't mind.
Okay.
Alvin Kamara as well. We didn't actually talk about it. Oh, we talked about it at the start. Alvin Kamara, 9.5. Yeah, 9.5 is the line. Betting at the over. No, I'm joking. And the receivers here, my pick is Brandon Aiyuk over 60.5 receiving. I really like that. Cooper Kupp under 57 if you want as well. I talked about Tyreek Hill already. And my cheeky one, this is probably the most sweaty one, Tank Dell under, I think it's like 50 yards receiving. He's the Texans are playing the Denver Broncos. The Denver Broncos have been playing way better on defense. Now, having said that, keep in mind, it doesn't mean that I'm not saying the Denver Broncos are playing like lights out like they were last year, but I think that they have been shutting down receiver 2 options and receiver 1 options recently. And I think Nico Collins, I think, will be okay, but I think that Tank Dell will have sort of like a rookie. This will be like he's really sort of like you're still a rookie. Welcome to the league. The rookie moment. Wall. I think it's going to come in this game. I think he's still going to be really good for the rest of the year, and he's one of my favorite players.
This is at the time. This is around the time where the rookie wall hits, brother. It's where it's a real thing.
And they're on the road. It's going to be cold in Denver. I think this might. I think CJ Stroud might even struggle a little bit in this game as well.
Right. I think you're right because everybody's so fired up on CJ Stroud too. I think the line's going to be slightly inflated. I you know what? I like that one a whole hell of a lot
it's in Houston.
Better.
It's in Houston.
It's in Houston.
So it's in okay, it's indoors.
It's not cold. It's not
cold. Still.
Yeah.
Still, I think this might be a bit of a struggle for them.
I understand what you're saying.
Denver, they've won 5 in a row and they've been gutting out these really heavy victories, but it's been really hard to watch.
Yeah, that's not fun football to watch. I like that pick a lot better than I like the Cooper Kupp pick. I'll put it that way.
Yeah, okay. I got to stop opening up these can of worms as we're trying to like do the sign up for the show. And I'm like, hey, I've just got one more thought-provoking, very productive pick. Nah, but those are my picks.
I also like the
Good luck, everyone.
I like the over under 6.5 beers for John on Sunday.
On Monday morning?
Monday morning, yeah. 6.5 beers Monday morning.
Yeah. I'll take it. Over.
Yeah, okay.
Over.
Yeah, over. I'm taking the over for sure. All right. Let's sign this off. Okay, so this is week 12. Prop Nation, your boy Sully. Like and subscribe, and you get to see John Lloyd Roberts' pretty face every Thursday with John's Thursday records. They're incredible. So follow along next week after this show. You're gonna win some money if you follow John. Now, obviously, we're not giving you financial advice, but what we are doing is having a lot of fun making NFL picks. You choose at your own discretion and choose wisely. We are very good at what we fucking do, though. We are really good at what we do. So follow along, tell your friends. Let's go. John, sign us out.
Bro, Dak, it's halftime in the game. Oh, sorry, it's 90 seconds to go. Dak Prescott has 206 passing yards already. Gino's at 144, so we're still alive. My other pick, Zach Charbonnet, has 15 yards. I need him to be under 70. I think that's looking pretty damn good. Tony Pollard, he has I'm counting about 40 yards there nearly, so he's got about 30 to go. That's looking good as well. And Jake Ferguson, over 3.5 receptions. Well, he has 3, so our parlay pick is looking good. It's looking
good, buddy. You're looking good. Johnny, have a great week. We'll see you all next week. We'll see you on Thursday for John's Thursday night picks. Let's go.